color schemes, design schemes, whatever it may be to get to you. But advertisers try to get to you see the life you could have through their commercials. You feel incomplete, so you hand over the cash, hoping to buy happiness. Plastic surgery. Oh, I want to look like such a... There's a lady trying to look like Barbie. Surgery after surgery after surgery. Now, plastic surgery is good if it's for the right reasons. For example, a child that has a cleft palate, to fix something. Or burn victims. That's understandable. But when you want to have surgery after surgery and cut into you for no reason other than to look like someone like Barbie, or cut here like some women do and have a boob job, what? What, you think because if you have a boob job, you're going to be any happier? You're not going to be any happier. You'll have men lusting at you. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? No. Plastic surgery has to be for a good reason. Like I said, the cleft palate in babies, children, or teenagers. Burn victims. Cosmetics. Oh, let me take those, you know, let me hide all the stuff, you know, Multi-billion-dollar business, cosmetics. Oh, try this, try this, try this. Oh, you'll smell good. Oh, you'll attract men, you'll attract women. Cosmetics. Fashion. Oh, I gotta have the thing that's going right now. And there's nothing wrong with buying nice clothes, by the way. But like I said, when you elevate it to this point, up here, there's a problem. Modeling. You know, there's a time when models had to be, under 100 pounds. Skinny as real, like they were anorexic. In fact, some of them were anorexic because of the pressures of modeling. Gambling. Gamble. Oh, I've lost the home. Why? Because I went to the casino and I couldn't control myself. I wanted to get rich quick. Oh, so your treasure again in gambling. Earthly, not the Father's. I've seen people write checks after check after check at the casinos. I've seen people put their credit cards in. Boom, boom. Lose tens of thousands of dollars. I've seen this. I got to get it back. I know. I can get on a winning streak. Where's your treasures? You're thinking here, not here. Sports. Now they have fantasy football. Gambling now on the computer. Bet. Guess what? None of these things can make you do it. You're choosing where your treasures are. You're making the choice to get out of control. People often make their material possessions into Elohims without even realizing it, especially money. Whether we want to admit it or not, money is fragile and can be lost easily. Gambling, real great example of that. A dip in the stock market, the crash of 29. People are, multi-millionaires lost everything. Were jumping off of buildings and committing suicide. Where were their treasures? Where were their treasures? You tell me. A bad business decision. Whatever its cause may be, wealth can easily be lost. But guess what can't be lost? The Torah. The Torah is forever. Yehoshua is forever. Our King, Messiah, Yeshua is forever. That's never lost. Never. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves breaks in and steals. In Matthew 6:19. Remember these 3 points next time you feel the world trying to take your money out of Yehovah's hands and put it into its own. The world says, YOLO. Y-O-L-O. You only live once, indulge first and save later. Yehovah says, pay yourself by saving, then enjoy the fruits of your labor. Proverbs 21:20 explains the value in saving for a rainy day. Desirable treasure and oil are in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man swallows it up. Proverbs 21:20. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Proverbs 13:20. It's mine, 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 mine. I'm storing it up. No, no, you can't have. You can't have. The world says, spend all of your money on you. There's no way you'll have anything left over. Yehoshua says, give 10% off the top and work toward being able to give even beyond. Glory Yehoshua with your goods and with the first fruits of all your increase. Then your storehouses shall be filled with plenty, and your vats overflow with new wine. Proverbs 3:9 and 10. Malachi 3:10. Yehoshua tells us that those first fruits should be 1/10 of what we produce. Would a man rob Elohim? Yet you are robbing me. But you said, and what have we robbed you? In tithes and offerings. Malachi 3:8. See, we're robbing him. We're no different from the person who goes into a 7-Eleven or any grocery store or even a restaurant, wherever, or robs an individual. We're robbing Yehoshua. Same thing, we're robbing. Wrong is wrong, and we will be chastised for it. He says that we are to give 1/10. He said it, I did. Lots of people say that they don't have enough money to give. But the problem might be that they don't make it a priority. Like I said, King's Highway or Highway to Hell. You decide. We all decide what our priority is. The world says debt can be a tool to buy things you couldn't otherwise have. Yehoshua says, servant, slave, there's no such thing as good debt. Over the past several decades, debt has been marketed so heavily that many people feel like they can't survive without it. 8 in 10 Americans have debt, and 7 in 10 believe it's necessary. But debt has also forced people to delay, avoid expensive life events, or cause marriage. I can't afford to get married right now. Children, you know, how are we going to take care of a child? I'm in debt up to my ears. Bankruptcy. You have to file bankruptcy. You don't know how to manage your money. Divorce. Many divorces are caused by financial stress because they don't manage it. They don't focus on what needs to be focused. Yehoshua, the Torah teaches you how to manage money. See, money, if you borrow money, you're a slave to the lender. You're a slave to the lender. The word says you are. Borrowing money enslaves you to the lender. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Shoal calls us to pay off all our debts. Owe no man, owe no one any matter except to love one another. For he who loves another has filled the Torah. Romans 13:8. Again, like a hand. Established. Instead of thinking money will make us happy, we should focus our attention and efforts on Yehoshua, who is the giver of happiness. The world says, set your sights on the important needs of life. Food, shelter, family. Focus on the basic needs of life, so that everything else that comes after is just the cherry on the top. All you need is the essentials. Oh, really? So all you need is the worldly things? You know, family, food, shelter. As long as my tummy's filled. As long as we have a roof over our head. And family. That's the wrong food. That's the wrong shelter. And that's the wrong family. Our family is Yehoshua. Our King is Messiah Yeshua. This is our family. We make it focus on Him. We'll have the right family together. Yehoshua says, Set your sights on Yehoshua, who supplies all your needs. Food, shelter, and famine, all your needs, clothing, whatever it may be. Because of this I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat or drink, or about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than the food, and the body more than the clothing? 6:25, again, where your treasures are. The world says, death is the end. When we die, we are buried in the ground, and that is it. We cease to exist. So do everything you can in this life. Make the most out of it. You only live once. Party. Do whatever you want. If you can't be with one, love the one you're with. Do drugs. Do whatever you want to do. Because once you're dead, you're dead. That's the world's way. Yehoshua says, death is only the beginning. This life is only temporary. What is important is the coming life. You want forever, or you want the end? The worst thing that can happen to anyone in this world is separation from the Father. Period. That's the worst thing that can happen to anybody in this world. Think about it. Think about it. In this life, we are full of sorrow, full of grief, full of troubles. If that's all there is, then we kind of got a raw deal, didn't we? Just full of sorrow, grief, and troubles. He didn't promise you a garden of just roses and beetles smelling good. Things are going to happen, and our trials are going to happen. But through those trials, He's trying to show us we can get closer to Him. We have to go through trials. It's sad we do, but we do. Because of the choices we make at times, and others that come in our life and put their choice on us. Yehoshua promised a life like one we could never imagine, where there will be no sorrow or tears, where the streets are lined with gold, not traffic and potholes, where we will get new bodies and get rid of this body that we have been trying to shed those last 15 pounds. Man-made days, Yehoshua days. Common question asked by new believers in the faith is, what about the holidays we grew up with? Can we continue to observe them? When it comes to celebrating days, especially those with a religious meaning, shouldn't they be based upon Scripture? Now, if they are not based upon Scripture, what are they based upon? Deuteronomy 12:29 through 31. When Yehoshua your Elohim cuts off before you the nations which you are going in to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, beware that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire after their Elohim, saying, how do these nations serve their gods, that I also may do likewise? You shall not behave thus toward Yehoshua your Elohim, for every abominable act which Yehoshua hates, they have done for their gods, for their Elohims. For they even burn in their sons and daughters in their fire to their Elohims. See that? They burn their sons and daughters in the fire of their Elohims. Yehovah's days. Leviticus 23:1-3, Shabbat. Deuteronomy 16, Pesach, Passover. Yeshayahu, Isaiah 66:23, Rosh Chodesh, the new moon. Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement. Again, Leviticus 23 does talk about all these as well, but I'm showing you in other scriptures where they can be found as well. Man-made days. Easter. Oh, Easter. You know who Easter is? Ishtar, mother goddess of fertility. Queen of heaven, Mary. According to 8th century scholar St. Bede, the name Easter is derived from the Scandinavian Ostra and the Teutonic Ostern or Estre, both of whom were goddesses of mythology and were identified with spring and fertility. The mother goddess has many names, see? Not just one name, many names. Astarte, Ishtar, Astoreth, Sabel, Re, Demeter, Ceres, Aphrodite, Venus, Diana, and Freya. In 325 AD, the first major church council, the Council of Nicaea, determined that Easter should fall on the Sunday following the first full moon after the spring equinox, a day that commemorated the resurrection of one of their gods that they called Tammuz, who was believed to be the only begotten son of the moon goddess and the sun god. See what I'm saying? Their god. Ham, whose son named Cush. Cush married a woman named Samarias, Ishtar. Cush and Samarias had a son named Nimrod. Nimrod is the grandson of Noah. Now, after the death of his father, Nimrod married his own mother. Incest, well, that's against Torah, and became a powerful king. And Cush brought forth Nimrod, who in time began to be mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yehoshua. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yehoshua, and the beginning of his reign was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Bereshit, Genesis 10, 8 through 10. Okay, Nimrod became a god-man to the people. Samarias became the powerful queen. Nimrod was killed by Shem, by an enemy, killed by Shem. Body was cut into pieces, sent to various parts of his kingdom. Sent all over parts. As a warning, by the way. Samarias had all the parts gathered except for one part that could not be found. Do you know which part that could be? Huh? Do you know which one that? The phallic symbol? The phallic? The private part? Samarias, or Ishtar, claimed that Nimrod could not come back to life without it, and told the people of Babylon that Nimrod had ascended to the sun. It was now to be called Baal, the sun god. Oh, sun worshippers, Sunday worshippers. A, claimed that she came down from the moon in a giant moon egg that fell into the Euphrates River. B, she taught that the moon was a goddess that went through a 28-day cycle and ovulated when full. Claimed that she was immaculately conceived. Claimed that it was the rays of the sun, God, Baal, that caused her to conceive. Son that she brought forth was named Tammuz. Tammuz became a hunter, like his dad, and killed by a wild pig. He proclaimed a 40-day period of time of sorrow. Does this sound like Lent? We have ham. No, I don't have ham, but people have ham. Right? The Catholic Church, they have Lent, 40 days. Oh, wow. Yeshua, 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness. Wow, see how close the enemy tries to get as close to the Father as possible? The truth is that the 40 days of Lent, eggs, rabbits, and Easter ham have everything to do with the ancient pagan religion of Mystery Babylon. These customs of Easter honor Baal, who is also Satan, and is still worshipped as the rising sun, and his house is the house of the rising sun. See, resurrection. How about the Easter egg? Where did that come from, the Easter egg? Eggs, since ancient times, were known to be very prominent as symbols of new life and resurrection. Every year, the priest of Ishtar would impregnate young virgins on an altar dedicated to herself and her husband. On an altar, a virgin. The children were born on or around Christmas, and the next year they were sacrificed in the Easter Sunday at the sunrise service. The priest would take Ishtar's eggs and dye them in the blood of the sacrificed children. What color do people make their eggs during Easter? Red, blue, purple, green, yellow, whatever. Ah, interesting, huh? But people say, oh, no, we don't do that. No. Learn history, where this came from. Learn. You know, like Christmas. Oh, it's just time, look. The little children, we hide those eggs everywhere. And look at them run, and look at the smiley faces. We've lied again to the children. We're lying to ourselves. If we follow this demonic holiday. Inanna, Sumerian goddess of love, sensuality, fertility, procreation, war. Wow, another goddess. Well, there's all these Elohims. And don't bow down to these Elohims, the word says. Don't bow down to all these Elohims. Don't follow them. Now, Inanna, Sumerian, her husband was none other than the infamous god Moloch, or Melech, to whom children were, and still are, sacrificed in satanic rituals. See, there's still satanic rituals going on to this day. Especially during Halloween. Sacrifices are happening to this day. Now, you don't hear it on the news anywhere. You have to really search this out and learn history. Yeah, you can find it on the internet. You can find on YouTube satanic rituals. But this is happening to this day. Satanism is the religion and worship of the Anunnaki, and the human and animal sacrifice were a part of the rituals. They sacrificed not only animals but humans, cats, dogs, whatever they can find. If they can find a baby, they will sacrifice the baby. People. If they can find a blonde-haired, blue-eyed person, they will get them as soon as because in their thinking, that's the most powerful, especially if it's a baby. Yeshua is our resurrection, people. Okay? Yeshua. Focus. And on day 1 of the week, Miriam from Magdala came early to the tomb while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been removed from the tomb. In John, Yohanan 21, Matthew 28, 1 through 6, Mark 16, 1 through 7. See, she came before the sun rose that first day. Yeshua, as the sun was setting on Shabbat, as a setting, he rose. He'd already risen. That sun set as it was coming. Havdalah. At the end of Shabbat. She came early in the morning before sun ever came up. It was dark. And realized he was already risen. He had already risen. In fact, she saw a man in the garden. She didn't even recognize him. It was Yeshua transformed. Now, what does Yehoshua say regarding how his people should live in the land formerly occupied by pagans? When Yehoshua, your Elohim, does cut off from before you the nations which you go to dispossess, and you dispossess them and dwell in their land, guard yourself that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed from before you, and that you do not inquire about their mighty ones, saying, how did these nations serve their mighty ones? And let me do so too. Devarim, Deuteronomy 12, 29 to 30. Yes, I repeated this scripture earlier because we all need to be reminded who to follow and who not to follow. Like I just went over Easter. Satanic rituals. Blood flowing. Children being killed. Adults being sacrificed. Animals being sacrificed. Don't get ensnared. Don't even have nothing to do with that. Because once you take that step into there, all it takes is one step, one little mistake, and then it tweaks your mind. Like I said, we've inherited lies from our fathers. We've got to find and search the truth. And the only way you can do that is in meditation, in prayer, and focusing on the Father, and studying His Word. Remember when I said earlier, I said, these customs of Easter honor Baal, who is also Satan, and is still worshipped as the rising sun, and his house is the house of the rising sun. There was a song by a group named the Animals, House of the Rising Sun. Now I want you to listen to these words. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans. What his father was? A gambling man. Where was his treasure? Right here on earth. He was a gambling man. Now the only thing a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time he's satisfied, and when he's on a drunk, the only time he's satisfied, earthly things, he's drunk, he's an alcoholic, he's a gambler. Oh, mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Spend your lives in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Well, I got one foot on the platform, the other foot on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain. Who are you a slave of? Who are you a slave of? That ball and chain. You're a slave of the earth. You made that choice. Just like you're borrowing money from somebody. You're a slave to that lender. You're a slave to this earth. Break those chains. Break them. And have the freedom what Yehoshua can give you. Well, there is a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And God, I know I'm one. Now do you see that? He knows he's doing wrong. He knows, yet he still does it. He's got this addiction. He's got that satanic, demonic within him. And it's metastasized like a cancer. And he knows that. He's so deep into it. He's got a trunk in one hand, and he's just going along, gambling, gambling, gambling. Drinking, get drunk. There was another song, and you got to understand, when melody is put on these songs, oh yeah, oh, you're putting that in your mind. You don't realize that when you put that in your mind, oh my goodness, I can ensnare myself by doing that. Now, Aretha Franklin had a song called Chain of Fools. Listen to this. For 5 long years, I thought you were my man, but I found out I'm just a link in your chain. Oh, you got me where you want me. I ain't nothing but your fool. You treated me mean. Oh, you treated me cruel. What? Is that how you treat a wife? That's not how you treat a wife. That's not the Torah way. She's just another link on his chain. He got women all over the place. I'm just another. And he treats her cruel. Emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and more than likely physically. Here's what happens in the last days. According to 2 Timothy 3:1-4. Man shall be lovers of self. Pride. They're all into themselves. Lovers of silvers. Boasters. Now, I will tell you this. You can boast. As long as it's toward the Father. But just boasting, no, you can't do that. Look at me. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. You can boast about the Father and what He has to say. Proud. Oh, that pride. Blasphemers. Disobedient to parents. What's happening today in this generation? The children are getting worse and worse and worse. I've seen it. Up yours, Mom and Dad. Heck with you. I don't care about you. They're not even afraid of the law anymore. They have no respect for the parents. Have no respect for the law. They're going wild around. And guess what? It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. Thankless. They don't appreciate things. I'm talking about the ones in the last days that are so far away from the Father. Wrongdoers, murderers, stealers, liars, adulterers, unloving. They love themselves. They don't love no one else. They really don't even love themselves. Believe it or not, that's not love. Unforgiving. I ain't going to forgive you. Heck with you. Look what you did to me. Well, guess what? If you don't forgive, the Father's not going to forgive you. Slanderers. Gossipers. Making false accusations. And we've all been there, by the way. Without self-control. fierce, haters of good, betrayers, reckless, puffed up. Oh, look at me, puffed up. Think you all that? You know, because the Father will bring you down to earth real quick. And He's done that to all of us at one time or another. But we have to decide when is enough and start listening to the Father. Reckless in your speech, in your thinking, your behavior. You're reckless because you're not focused. You're reckless because you don't care. You don't care about yourself. You don't care about the Father. You don't care about others' feelings. You're reckless. You're a slanderer. You're a liar. You're proud. You're a blasphemer. Disobedient parents, like I said. Thankless. Wrongdoers. Who cares? Reckless. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Elohim. Pleasure. Oh, it feels good. Oh, look at that. I won $1,000 on the gambling thing. Yeah. If you can't be with the one you love, love the one you're with. Having sex all over the place. Getting drunk. High as a kite. Lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of Elohim. Because see, if you have lovers of Elohim, if you're a lover of Elohim, this is not going to affect you. You're going to be strong enough if you focus on the Father to stay away from that. Not to get tempted. And we all get tempted in some form or fashion. That's why we always have to be on our toes and listen. In prayer. Many times in this world, its advice and opinions are in direct conflict with Yehoshua. That's why it is important to focus on Him. Read His Word. Study His Word. Ask questions if you don't know something. Learn. Meditate on His Word. And pray without ceasing. Mark Twain once said, "It is wiser to find out than suppose." I wonder. No, find out. Get into that Word. Get into that prayer. Know the facts. Study history where some of this stuff came, whether it's Christmas, Halloween, Easter, whatever it may be. Know the facts. Study His Word. And pray without ceasing to have Him give you revelation and strength and a hedge around you to protect you each and every day as you wake up, go through the day, and as you sleep. So we know what He wants from us as opposed to what the world does. No matter where you get advice, you should always go to the Scriptures and see if it lines up with Torah. Now remember, I told you can't call out somebody. Someone said that you can't call. Someone said you can't call someone out. Yeah, you can. The Word says you can actually do that. You can actually do it if it's not lined up with Torah. But you better have a good foundation of Torah. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. Proverbs 26:11. As a dog returns to his own vomit, so a fool repeats his folly. We're creatures of habit. Our comfort zone. We'll go back to it. That's why an alcoholic will fall off the wagon. That's why a gambler will fall off the wagon. That's why a druggie will fall off the wagon. Because they're going back to what they know. Their comfort zone. Or someone is constantly being in debt. Need money, I need this. You repeat. You got to get out of that cycle of repeating.